From scenic Seaside, California, it's the USL Championship tonight from Cardinale Stadium as Monterey Bay plays host to El Paso Locomotive. Alongside the coach, Eric Dobransky, and our entire crew, I'm Sean St. Jacques. Great to have you with us. Tough opening night for Monterey Bay. Last time out, no other way to really put it. It was a tightly contested game, but Jordan Stewart and the Seasiders were left wanting more as Oakland snatched the points late.
But as you see there, a handful of chances that could have altered the narrative in that result. This is a team, Sean, primed for a bounce back from that opening weekend defeat. And both boxes are going to be a key tonight.
Mark Fisher in the 85th, enough for Oakland to snatch all the points. One of those players who will be key, the Guyana international, the youngster Omari Glasgow, filled with talent.
Yeah, an explosive threat in the wide areas. He can imbalance opponents and create in the dribble, along with the ability to stretch the field that opens up space from the attention that he commands, and will be a big part to this Monterey Bay attack, how it evolves.
The last time out for El Paso in the USL Championship. One of the better games from the first week of league play. Finished 2-2 at a dream debut for Rubio Rubin. He scored both of Locomotive's goals.
And I know they conceded twice, but overall balanced performance from El Paso Locomotive. Featured some key contributions, obviously the loudest being Rubio Rubin's 2 goals, but defensively, Noah Dolomeier anchoring that back line, looking to build off this opening weekend draw.
We'll see how Junior Gonzalez's side goes on from there. Rubin was key. Both goals, dream debut. Locomotive settles for a point, and the Guatemalan international is our player to watch again tonight.
What an introduction to your new side. A brace and opening weekend, such a unique attacking presence. He can strike from distance if you don't apply the appropriate pressure, but also the way he operates and exploits space in the penalty area is special. So clever with his timing, just a natural finisher.
Good enough to be the USL Player of the Week last week in the championship. Gonna be a good one here. Monterey Bay trying to bounce back at home on Seaside. Locomotive looking for their first victory as well of the new campaign. Lineups and kickoff from California coming up after the break.
At Montage Health, we go way back in Monterey County. We've been here for life's bumps and bruises, and its joyous moments, too. Our dedicated, compassionate staff have cared for generations of you. We're locals serving locals, delivering all the care you need right here. Visit montagehealth.org.
There is a ranch where we belong, where people believe in us, and we see what's possible when we realize our potential. This place dares you to dream, to seize opportunities, and find purpose. This is our ranch.
At Taylor Farms, our goal is to create healthier lives by creating healthy, fresh foods. A stronger community is a win for everyone. That's why each time the Monterey Bay Football Club scores a goal, Taylor Farms will donate $500 to a local nonprofit. Healthy goals, healthy lives. A more perfect union. We are Union!
SeatGeek is the ticketing app for fans like the high five strangers got, game-winning interception, first down, just a nice solid tackle. If you're in arm's length, you will be swapping skin with this extrovert. You see, he knows SeatGeek got him a great deal on tickets, so he can focus on what he does best, smacking palms. SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
Tonight's match is presented by Taylor Farms. Sean and Eric here with you. We dive into starting 11s, beginning with Jordan Stewart and Monterey Bay, the hosts.
Yeah, Sean, overall solid performance last weekend. Now it's about complementing the execution in both boxes, denying chance creation, but also translating that into sustained offensive output. Blancas gets the start at midfield. Look for his dual impact. Wesley Leggett finding that final detail. Had some glimpses against Oakland, looking to put it all together tonight.
We'll get to the substitutes with Monterey Bay in a moment as well. Junior Gonzalez has this starting 11 for El Paso, with Rubio Rubin leading the line.
Yeah, first road test of the season. How quickly can this group get settled in? Eric Calvillo, Coronado, Mendez in midfield. They'll want to dictate how this game flows. And the youngster, Kenneth Hoban, on the outside back, strong performance last weekend.
A draw for El Paso last week, trying to turn 1 point into 3 tonight. And yes, the two new signings for Monterey Bay are in the squad. They're both on the bench, Ryuga Nakamura and Sebastian Leggett. Jordan Stewart did tell us he's going to try and play both of them off the bench tonight. We will see how all of that unfolds. It will be El Paso Locomotive getting us started here in Seaside. They'll be kicking us off going from right to left. And at the sound of the referee's whistle, we are going to have another interruption, as we've had over the last couple of weeks in the USL Championship. As you can tell from the scenes here in Seaside, got a good crowd still filing in here at Cardinale Stadium. And we are underway between Monterey Bay and El Paso Locomotive. Sean St. Jacques, Eric Dobransky, happy to be with you on a really jam-packed night of action around the USL Championship. El Paso with a 2-2 draw last time out, hoping to improve on that with a road victory. Monterey Bay, a lot has been asked of that performance against Oakland. Jordan Stewart wasn't happy, the players weren't happy. They're hoping to have vast improvements on that here tonight. Servando Berna is our head official, and we are off and running with El Paso in possession here midway through the Monterey Bay half, and the Seasiders, well, they won it back for a moment, but it's out for a Locomotive throw on the far side.
Yeah, for Jordan Stewart's side, dictating tempo right off the bat. The energy on and off the ball is going to be so important for this match. You're at home, you want to be the aggressor. You feel like there's still a lot left to build off of from that opener against Oakland. Even with that said, you created a couple clear-cut opportunities that could have changed how that game played out. Still a lot for this side to continue to grow into, and looking for that in their second straight home match of the season.
One of the things to remember as well from last week is that Jordan Stewart, as the whistle goes here, for a foul and a free kick to El Paso. Jordan Stewart's starting 11 last week was all debutants, all players making their Monterey Bay debut. He said it's just going to take some time, the continuity, the relationships in the team with all the different pieces they've brought in. Of course, there's two new cogs into that we're potentially going to see later on tonight in Leggett and Nakamura. It's going to take some time for that all to mesh in the right way to where Monterey Bay and Jordan Stewart and these fans, of course, want it. At the other end here, Georgi Antadza is brought down there. El Paso clear their lines, and then Rubio Rubin cannot hold it up, and the Seasiders reset in their own half.
And to the point you were just making, one of the major areas you take from opening weekend, and for Jordan Stewart and his group, defensively overall solid. I mean, you slow down the 2025 Golden Boot winner and Peter Wilson. I mean, there was limited opportunities for Peter Wilson. Conceded in the 85th, good ball in here. But other than that, managed big chances, just were not able to generate any of their own, and that's going to be where they want to develop and evolve.
You look at the pieces, even in this lineup tonight, the likes of Eduardo Blancas, I mentioned Laptanza, Mari Glasgow, Wesley Leggett. There's so much potential there. It's just about putting the, and this is what Jordan Stewart said, it's about putting the pieces of the puzzle in the right spot.
Yeah, and the attacking side is the most difficult side to come together because you're going into an area that you lack space, so timing, collaboration, cohesiveness, the relationships matter because you need to know where each other are moving. You need to build off of each other.
That's a lovely ball played over the top. Omari Glasgow keeps this in for Monterey Bay and then sends it just about over everybody's head and onto this near side. Monterey Bay trying to stay on the front foot here. Garcia in behind for Glasgow. And it goes out of play. I think the referee's going to point for a free kick going against the Guyana International for Locomotive.
And this is already better from Monterey Bay. The start on the front foot. You can see every time they regain possession, they are looking, see if they can go forward, how they can go forward. See the foul on Glasgow, and he had the service earlier, got himself into a good space. Just a bit more clinical on the service there, but you can already see the representation inside the 18-yard box for Monterey Bay is quite aggressive.
The player that was slow to continue there was Kofi Chumasi for El Paso. Looks like he's okay to put the ball back in play. Look at the all-time series between these two, pretty tight. El Paso leads 4 wins to Monterey Bay's 3 with 4 draws mixed in, although El Paso are unbeaten in their last 4 against Monterey Bay, but 3 of those were draws. So very tightly contested games tend to occur when these two tangle.
And their second matchup last year was that 2-2 draw. Paso did pick up the early season win.
Ball is looped over the top, looking for Leggett. It's swept away by Ricky Ruiz. Here's the always fun to watch, Armando Moreno holding up the play, but he does put it out of play. And it goes back to Monterey Bay as we look at Junior Gonzalez. Following in the footsteps, by the way, of Wilmer Cabrera for a second time in his career. The first time Wilmer Cabrera left RGV, Junior Gonzalez took over as head coach. It's happened again here in El Paso. Has had great experience also, by the way, with LAFC and the LA Galaxy, particularly at the MLS Next Pro level.
And for Junior Gonzalez, has to be pleased with the resolve and response that his team showcased last weekend, going down early, conceding in the 5th minute. I mean, you're kicking off a new season, the excitement's there, you're at home, you concede 5 minutes in, and the response, scored two goals, obviously Rubio Rubin with both of those, but you concede the equalizer later in the second half. But overall, a lot to take away from that match and taking into their first road game.
Dolenmeyer resets as an El Paso player slowly gets back up away from the play. Noah Dolenmeyer was one of the bright spots for El Paso defensively last time out. He gets another call up, by the way, to the senior Dominican Republic national team and just seemingly gets better and better with each passing game and with each passing season.
And the way that his game just continues to develop on the ball is where you see the strides that defensively, that presence, that physical presence, ball winner. Now he's added the ability to play make from those deeper positions, and now A deeper free kick earned for El Paso.
Beto Avila brought down, it appears, by Monterey Bay.
Nice heavy touch into space right here as he explodes into that area and receives the contact. Anytime you're on the road and trying to get a footing in the match, free kicks are always an area where you can exploit and be dangerous.
One of the sour spots from last week was that the goal Monterey Bay conceded stemmed from a set piece as well, the Fisher late finish. So some work to do here for Monterey Bay from a defensive standpoint. Alex Mendez, Roberto Coronado standing over it. It's served to the edge of the 6, not the best header away by Leggett here. And on the layoff, the shot is blocked. Tadze for Monterey Bay tries to spin out of traffic. He does end up giving the ball right back, and Calvio resets for Locomotive. Leaves it. Played back for Kelsey Egu. And shoveled down the line by Lashevich, who tries to get back on the end of the ball played towards the corner. He digs out the cross. It's just over the head of a couple players there, and then a challenge is going to go against Monterey Bay on the back end there. Blancas tried to keep the ball alive. The call goes for Calvio and El Paso here.
For Monterey Bay, the personality is already coming out. Some of the characteristics and the profile of the players as we see the coming together there that leads to the El Paso free kick. Blancas is a player that came on last week. Typically such a free kick specialist, but he was impactful in the run of play. Helped out quite a bit defensively. You can already see the lines for Monterey Bay. A lot more connected.
Well, Dolenmeyer looked like he had lost it, but the referee says it's an unfair challenge by Wesley Leggett, who has an interaction there with Junior Gonzalez, the El Paso coach.
Don't listen to the fourth official, he's lying.
And then Glasgow closes it down. It's an El Paso throw. The USL Championship and League One are on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day on CBS Sports Golazo Network and on ESPN Plus. Go to USLChampionship.com or USLLeague1.com for the complete USL TV listings. We were talking off air. It's already been a pretty crazy day, not just in the championship, League One. Some of the results out of League One today have been pretty wild as well. That's when you really know that the USL's back in full swing at every level.
Yeah, we were talking about One Knox dropping their first home match.
Last time they lost at home, One Knox, the defending League One champs, got to go back to 2024. That alone was a head-turning result from League One today. Boy, Leggett and Monterey Bay are really frustrated with these last couple of moments. The ball does go out of play for an El Paso throw here.
And I know this play leads to frustration for Wesley Leggett, but you have to like the heavy involvement that we see early. And it's the variety in which you're getting the ball to his feet at midfield so he can go on the dribble, but also trying to access some of that space in behind when El Paso climbs the field.
That was a good step, by the way, by the youngster Fernando Delgado, 19 years old. Jordan Stewart said that he thought Fernando Delgado had one of the better Monterey Bay performances last time out. It can be tough at any pro level, being a teenager, asked to be the #1 goalkeeper at a club. But Andrew Delgado seemed to pass his first test with flying colors, in Jordan Stewart's opinion.
And praised the way that he plays with his feet, the ability to distribute, decision-making, as you see it here. And calm and collected, and that's what you need from your goalkeeper, especially when you want to personify the identity that this Monterey Bay side want. It's almost become something for goalkeepers that there's so many positions on the field that have evolved and have now required some different elements that maybe years and years ago you didn't have to see. But for goalkeepers, the distribution and the ability to play with the ball at their feet has become so valuable. They can get themselves involved higher up the field, can really bring in opponents, squeeze them in, make them compact, and then break bigger lines.
Solid build-up here from El Paso. The cross into the middle towards Armando Moreno. Moreno is double covered, has help through Ricky Ruiz. The driving run by Calvio, trying to slide it through. He recovers it, however. This is Alex Mendez. Back for Calvio. Maybe a chance to clip this forward again. Calvio and company trying to shovel it through. The help of Beto Avila. Now Mendez. And Coronado resets.
That's one of the challenges when you're playing this El Paso side, is how they can access space with the pass and the dribble. I mean, they are just so electric and so elusive with what they do in the final third. I mean, you think you have a player bottled up, and they're just able to dribble themselves into some different space. So something that they've got to be aware of, Monterey Bay, and how that pulls them apart in some moments.
Mendez, double covered, and loses the ball. Monterey Bay does well there, cleared away by Tadza. Long distance strike from Chumasi. It was rising and had plenty of venom behind it. Delgado sees it fizz over the target.
Takes that positive few touches and steps right into that one. You know you have a young goalkeeper, why not try to test from distance? Your team is doing a lot of work in and around the 18-yard box. They're occupying defenders. But from that distance, you feel the pressure to be quality and clinical with the finish, and obviously that one dragging over the crossbar.
Referee's gonna bring this back. Foul, free kick, El Paso in a good spot. And the referee is pretty convinced. And the likes of Mendez and company will have a conference here as to what they want to do with this set piece.
So much of the time on these free kicks, it's not so much the first action or first contact being the one that hurts you. It's the second and third waves that end up costing you. So making sure that you're switched on after first contact.
It's gonna be a shot. Oh, and Delgado just shovels it wide. And it's gonna go out for a Locomotive corner.
Well, that all changes when first contact is straight on your goalkeeper. Delgado having to shuffle to his left. Has it covered, does concede the corner.
It's a bagel corner kick for Locomotive. Bent in by Mendez. There was a shirt pull back there on Chumasi. Referee had a good look at that, did not blow the whistle. The recovery by Ruiz. Still work to do here for Monterey Bay, and then the foul alleviates the pressure.
Yeah, solid delivery there on the corner. You saw that space start to develop, and you knew it was just going to be a matchup and a will to win that space.
The pressure leads to a giveaway here. And then was Moreno fouled? Yes, Kelsey Egu late to the party and receives a yellow card for his troubles here. Never really looked like he was going to get there in time.
This is some of the more challenging times defensively. As you could see, the foul and clearly a yellow card. But when you stack plays like that together, you not only have the turnover, you have the turnover deep in the build, so your opponent's already closer to goal. Now you're asking your teammates to make a play defensively, and almost out of desperation, you go through the back of the opponent, come in late, you pick up the yellow, you give up the free kick. Now you're a center back playing on an early yellow card. I mean, just so many of those trickle-down effects from a turnover in the build. Now you still got to deal with this.
From the free kick. Oh, this time Delgado cannot keep it out. And El Paso take the lead. Well, Delgado tried the same thing earlier and was able to shovel it wide of the post. This time off the strike from Alex Mendez. It sneaks through and El Paso jump out on top.
Yeah, and El Paso have clearly identified something on free kicks where they want to challenge Delgado, make him work side to side on his line and get this ball up and over the wall, but also the ability to get it to dip and bounce right before the approach. Delgado unable to parry that away. And those free kicks just started to add up for El Paso.
It's a first Locomotive goal for Alex Mendez, his first league goal since he scored for the Rowdies last season. And for his second home match running, Monterey Bay are behind. Now then, Calvillo just gliding past a couple of challengers there for Monterey Bay. Coronado onto the near side. Ruiz under some pressure, forced to flare it back towards Chumasi.
And these are some of the touches on the ball that I was talking about a few moments ago. You know, you hear a lot of the time, get the ball off your foot, move it quickly. But sometimes when you have those purposeful touches, those touches that drag defenders, move them, manipulate space, when you can do that deliberately, and that's what El Paso has done, they've allowed that deceptiveness to earn some free kicks and move and access some space higher up the field.
Well, we apologize there for the technical difficulties. Back to live action here. And this time it's a foul and a free kick against El Paso, and Monterey Bay will get a set piece opportunity in a pretty decent spot here on the near side. And there's no surprise that Eduardo Blancas is very much going to be involved in this, you would think.
Had a chance to cover him a couple times with AV Alta last year, and you just hear about how clinical he is with the delivery, and until you see it in real time, I mean, I know there was a couple that got away from him last week when he got on the end of a couple restarts, but the quality is there. It's about how can you threaten this El Paso side.
Along with Stuart Ritchie, who's actually going to end up taking this. Really good left boot, played with the champions from League One, Knox, last season. And he was brought in for deliveries like that. Oh, but no one could get on the end of it. Zachary Farnsworth was the closest one to it for Monterey Bay after a delicious delivery from Richie.
The delivery and the timing of these runs. So you could see an El Paso defender fall down. But you almost have Farnsworth selling out there. And obviously for Monterey Bay, you're going to be disappointed with conceding here in the first half, especially with the way that you've started this match, which has been a positive start. But you concede early enough now where you have to feel like the chances are there to go after, and you have all the firepower to do just that. You just need to complete that final pass, that final decision there in the attacking third. It's just not come together thus far.
This falls kindly for Lamtadze. Tries to slip it through here. Looks like Dolenmeyer had that covered. Oh, the referee goes to his assistant here, who says there was contact. It's going to be a foul. Looked like it was just outside of the penalty area here as Dolenmeyer brings down Wesley Leggett.
And what a battle we have on our hands tonight with Wesley Leggett and Dolenmeyer. They have been going at it since the start of this match, and Wesley Leggett's so clever and crafty, knowing that if he just gets this touch right here and he puts the contact together, he can draw that foul because there was limited numbers. What a dangerous set piece Monterey Bay have here.
Well, that's one of those live where you're thinking, oh, maybe El Paso have a case there, but referee gets that absolutely right. It was clearly a foul. And again, Monterey Bay have a chance here from a set piece. Still looking for their first goal of the new campaign. Abraham Romero is in goal for El Paso, trying to make sure everyone's in the right spot. And it's Blancas, who has scored from similar positions earlier in his career. So tough to get it up and back down from that distance. He sends it over. We'll watch the USL Championship in Spanish on 2DN, the nation's leading Spanish language sports network. Lexington SC take on newcomers Brooklyn FC on Wednesday, March 25th, 7 p.m. Eastern. Go to uslchampionship.com for the complete USL TV listings. Tough day today for Marlon LeBlanc's bunch. They lose 3-0 at Detroit City after such an impressive start to life in the championship. They beat Indy 11 by a goal to nil in Coney Island last week, but they got humbled, as many have over the years, at Keyworth earlier today.
Yeah, those are going to be the ebbs and flows of the journey for Brooklyn FC, along with everybody in the USL Championship. You're going to have times in the season where things seem to be going really well, and times of the season where you're going to have to band together and make sure that you navigate the challenges in front of you. And we're talking to Jordan Stewart this week about the performance in week one. He mentioned it at the break. To his group it was just one of those matches where they were going to have to weather the storm. They were going to have to collectively problem solve and collaborate and try to get the result. Fortunately, it was the 85th minute that saw Fisher score.
Dolenmeyer committed the foul. Monterey Bay players were asking for a yellow card there. I don't think one came out. Richie into the middle here. It's going to fall for a chance for Leggett. Bodies were flying all over the place there. Leggett's shot was blocked. Here's Garcia. Lifting it over the top. Little nudged header down here on the near side. Milešević. And Milešević goes down on this near side under the tackle from Amando Moreno. And it looks like Monterey Bay are going to get a bagel corner kick on this near side. After his lovely ball earlier from a free kick, Stuart Ritchie's going to take this one as well on an in-swinger. Ritchie's delivery is just about touched out of harm's way by Romero. Not exactly convincing. Lomtadze lifts it back into the penalty area, and this time Romero is convincing. Clean catch.
Yeah, from that first play, Romero had already climbed out of his 6-yard box, so in the area you had to have some movement and some traffic in and around Romero in order to make something of that service. But this is better for Monterey Bay. Their ability to be fluid and flexible with how they attack. They've done it with regaining possession higher up the field. They've done it from building through the back and through the thirds. Earned some quality set pieces here the last few moments, but now have to be very delicate with how they proceed, because it's going to be very difficult if you concede a second goal.
Rubin was offside. It looked like the flag did go up eventually, but it was a wonderfully one-header by Calvillo right into Rubin's path.
And that's somebody we have not talked about much tonight, and he finds himself back on the ball, but coming from an offside position.
Flag goes up again. Oh, and Rubin is convinced he was onside this time. El Paso are not happy about that, but Monterey Bay are let off the hook. Couple of nervy moments with the Seasiders playing out of their own end here.
Yeah, and Rubin is a professional through and through, because he is a finisher that does not need a lot of touches. He will command the attention, and even when you think you have him bottled up, all he needs is the slightest of separation to get a touch on goal, and he can swing the momentum of a match just like that. And so this is going to be a 90-minute task for Monterey Bay. Make sure you deny entries to Rubin, but also some of those turnovers, as we see Jordan Stewart.
Dressed to the nines again, Jordan Stewart, I might add.
Has to be pleased with the energy that his team has come out and played with.
Yep.
Obviously, he's got to be frustrated with the free kicks, especially with as many as they conceded in that spell and that span. Good play here, because it was almost rinse and repeat for El Paso. I want to say 2 or 3 times they had a set piece from about the same area, so give them a good look at your young goalkeeper from that space a number of times.
Whistle goes here. Calvillo looks to have been brought down as he tried to send that forward, and I believe Belmar Joseph Jr. is going to get a yellow card for bringing down the El Paso veteran here.
And that brings in that human element of what I was just talking about a few moments ago, the delicate situation of going after a goal to equalize, but also making sure that you don't concede. You know that every tackle is so important, as we see the yellow card action there and the foul. So you want to make a play and you don't want to concede the second goal, but now you give up another free kick.
Egu and Joseph now both in the book for Monterey Bay. And a little bit of a coming together there, but it bounces out of play. Signs by Van. What's bringing you all the yellow and red cards, if we have any red cards, tonight. And if you're just joining us, Alex Mendez, his first goal for El Paso, just underneath the gloves of a diving Fernando Delgado, is what has Locomotive in front. That's one back by Moreno. Mendez speared it forward, tried to put it into Rubin's path. It was cut out. And then Ritchie is fouled. That's going to be a free kick for Monterey Bay. near side. Milashevich didn't have too much to work with there. It's played through for Joseph, who is again under pressure here. And Egu will serve it over the top. Lovely initial touch by Leggett, but then he gives it away. Joseph recovers it for Monterey Bay. 1 or 2 shots for a foul there. Referee lets play continue, and then there's a foul. This time an overzealous challenge from Ricky Ruiz.
You know, Paso has been good in a lot of their second and third actions defensively, even when they get broken. That pressure from Monterey Bay, play through the lines, they've been able to recover, get bodies behind the ball again, and frustrate Monterey Bay in a lot of these situations where they do have collective numbers in the final third. Obviously, Dolenmeyer has been one of the anchors of that frustration.
And they're booing him every time he touches it now. Noah Dolenmeyer has been involved in some of the physical play tonight. Speaking of physical, heavy coming together there between Calvillo and it looked like Garcia. And Calvillo at least looks to appreciate the referee's view on that challenge.
I think the talk was that it was to check because it being possible head injury.
And to your point, Eric, I don't think it was anything more than that. It's going to be a drop ball. Monterey Bay have it back in possession here under Rubio Rubin pressure. He's waving more Locomotive players forward. And they oblige. Was Garcia fouled? Referee acknowledges it, waves play on. Milashevich up ahead. Lamtadze with time and space, plays it forward. It's looped over the top, looking for Leggett. Was Leggett fouled there? He went down on the edge of the area here. Play's allowed to continue. Or at least for the moment. Actually, I think the flag may have gone up against Wesley Leggett here.
Clipped in ball here. Contact there, but to your point, I think it was called offside. You mentioned it, Rubio Rubin waving his team to climb the field, but they climbed too late, and Monterey Bay was able to play out. They played into their midfield and were able to play out wide. But then for Monterey Bay, it's about when you play that bigger pass, that rangier pass, what do the numbers start to look like? What do the angles of approach, and where can you hurt El Paso? Combination, some of the movement, just sharpening and fine-tuning that is going to be priority for Jordan Stewart's group.
Some of the Seasiders supporters thought there was a handball in there. Referee lets play continue. It's played out wide by Avila and back towards the halfway line. It's then clipped over the top, looking for Rubin, who has stayed onside here and tried to slither it inside the far post. Wasn't far away at all from the Guatemalan.
Tough angle, but ball played into space, but Rubio Rubin feels like he can test the goalkeeper there, knows that he's isolated, that he does not have a lot of teammates arriving in the box, so electing to take himself not too far off.
Couple of headers back and forth between the El Paso players. It's sent forward looking for Moreno. Egu is there first for Monterey Bay. Once again, you feel that Jordan Stewart and Monterey Bay want a little bit more out of this performance so far. There's been, again, some positive moments, some close calls, particularly from set pieces. Just again, hasn't fallen into place yet for the Union.
Some of these first half yellow cards play into possible changes at the break. We saw a couple changes last week.
This is lovely build-up down this far side. Stuart Ritchie plays it across, and again, no one's there yet. Fizzed back into the middle, and it nearly fell for Leggett, who was in an offside position, couldn't commit. El Paso clear it away. And then on the follow-up, Leshkovich cannot pick out a teammate. It's Rubin holding this up beautifully for El Paso. Finds Amando Moreno. Going one-on-one with Egu. Still Moreno blocked. Follow-up attempt is blocked away by Garcia, who clears it away. Critical defensive moments there from the Seasiders. And now in transition here, referee waves on advantage, and then Ruiz commits a foul. Mileshevich brought down, Blancas brought down in the same sequence. Free kick, Monterey Bay.
End-to-end action. It starts with terrific attack for Monterey Bay, and then Rubio Rubin able to hold this ball up, get Moreno involved, and then there the foul at midfield. Followed up from another one from Ricky Ruiz.
And Ruiz was booked for that yellow card. First one for Locomotive tonight.
This last 5 minutes or so, Monterey Bay have been electric going forward. Now, can they capitalize on that before the break?
Ball forward by Garcia is headed well wide. That's a missed opportunity.
And with as clever as the link-up play was out in the wide spaces, and you're wowed by the chance, it's also going to be met with a hint of frustration, because how does that ball make it all the way across the face of goal, and you don't have any representation there in that late arriving run? I mean, you can kind of pinpoint a couple players that were in the vicinity that could have made that space theirs. Not only the build-up to that, but the ability to get to that byline and be clever with how you manipulated the timing. Another foul for Monterey Bay.
There were moments last week where Monterey Bay were getting a little too caught up in some of the referee challenges and some of the extracurriculars that really don't make a big impact on the game, specifically from a mentality standpoint. Jordan Stewart mentioned the mentality to us earlier this week, and you're starting to see some of that frustration creep back in. Wesley Leggett arguing there with the referee after what was pretty clearly a foul. Those are the kind of moments Monterey Bay are trying to cut out here.
Yeah, 100%, especially it's a foul, and it's a foul at midfield, so something that you can absorb, and you don't necessarily have to defend in your own box in that moment. So something that this team is going to want to turn their energy into something else moving forward. I do think some of that is as well trying to build in to some of the calls that you feel like you're not getting in your attacking half. So maybe not so much frustration there in that moment as we see another promising attack from El Paso.
Beto Avila sits a defender down and then played it across here. Moreno back into the middle. Delgado needed to get there in time and was able to catch it out of the air. Strong header from Dolenmeyer, helped along by Calvio, but won back by Monterey Bay. Lovely skill there from Joseph to elude a challenge. And then he cannot find Lamtadze, who had plenty of space to run into down this near side. Select is proud to be the official matchball supplier of the USL Championship. From the grassroots to the pros, Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select product specials and more. And as always, Select is the player's choice. Another look there at Junior Gonzalez. I mentioned this earlier, but he just did a wonderful job with LAFC 2, his last stint, the MLS Next Pro. It's a job that can be very difficult. There's so many different boxes that you have to check to be successful at that job. And it really felt like Junior Gonzalez did that when he was there. As Jordan Stewart has an injury issue here. That's Stuart Ritchie who is struggling here, and they might need to make a change here, Monterey Bay, as Ritchie is really having trouble. So for the moment, that puts Monterey Bay down to 10. They did not make a change yet, so Ritchie's off the field. That is an injury concern here for the Seasiders.
Yeah, you just hope that it's nothing long-term for Stuart Ritchie. Heavy involvement in the wide spaces, quality delivery. Just hope that it's something that quick recovery.
What a ball that is by Ruiz! And Beto Avila diving to get his head onto that, sees it fly over the bar.
Timing and recognition of space available is always important when you're attacking the 18-yard box. Good delivery. Met with a good run, just unable to guide this on target. Again, credit El Paso. They have done a good job of putting a lot of pressure and a lot of movement in and around the young goalkeeper, Fernando Delgado.
Well, Monterey Bay made the change. Stuart Ritchie is out. It's a debut for Ryuga Nakamura, who was technically signed back in December to the Seasiders, but they just announced it the other day. Another BBSI substitution. Jordan Stewart is incredibly encouraged by what Nakamura can bring to this Monterey Bay side. So one of the potential 2 debutants tonight gets in there early on for the Seasiders. Gonna get a good look at Nakamura tonight as he'll play the rest of the game.
Now let's see how this changes the setup for Monterey Bay. This comes into the midfield right before the break. Obviously gives you some moments to get your involvement in the match, but also right before the break where then you can go in and still assess how you want to make some changes and how you want to see the game, the next 45 minutes play out.
Just a quick word on Nakamura, 24 years old, played in the Latvian top flight for most of his career, and also has played quite a bit in the Japanese footballing setup. We'll have more on him and more game overall after the halftime break. The man of the moment is Alex Mendez, sliding a free kick underneath, a shoveling Fernando Delgado, who could not keep it out. More frustrations for Monterey Bay at the half, again, despite some positive moments.
Yeah, they were positive on the ball. When they regained possession, they always were looking forward, how they can play either vertical or to feet. For El Paso, have to be happy with how they built themselves into this game. Used some free kicks, obviously scoring off the free kick, but well managed.
1-0 to Locomotive at the half, thanks to the Mendez free kick. And we'll be rocking and rolling going into the second 45 after a quick break. We'll see if Monterey Bay can bounce back in the second 45. We'll look around the rest of the USL Championship coming up after the break.
It all starts with a spark, an idea.
That idea ignites into a dream.
The dream sharpens into a vision.
The vision fuels a process.
And through relentless craftsmanship, that process is forged into reality.
Your vision,
Our craftsmanship,
one unforgettable legacy.
Halftime here in Seaside, California. It's El Paso on top of Monterey Bay by 1-0. We'll have the second half coming up in just a few moments. But first, a look at the USL Championship and USL League One as they continue to expand their number of teams.
As we embark on another long journey to USL titles in the Championship and League One, contenders are now joined by even more contenders. 2026 opens the door to 7 new clubs, 2 in the Championship, 5 in League One. Sporting Jacks and Brooklyn FC joined the Eastern Conference in the Championship, increasing the league total to 25 clubs. And another record for League One, with AC Boise, Corpus Christi FC, Fort Wayne FC, New York Cosmos, and Sarasota Paradise matching the expansion record of 5 teams just last year. It makes an interesting challenge for all League One teams with playoff expectations, beginning with defending champion Knoxville. And head coach Ian Fuller loves the challenge.
What is different this year about preparations for expansion clubs, which means more travel, more talent coming into the league?
Yeah, you have to be ready for anything in this league. Yeah. Almost every league in North America is like this. You're going to have expansion teams, a lot of different players. We've got a lot of new players, and we're going to face a lot of new players in the league, and some new clubs and some new venues. It's kind of just the trickiness of this league.
Do teams coming in just because they're new doesn't mean they're at a disadvantage against, well-oiled teams like yours?
No, certainly you've got coaches that have coached in the league and done really, really well come in and with expansion teams. So, you've got a lot of players that have played in the league and played in higher leagues. You're going to have some really difficult opponents, even though they are expansion teams.
Last season, FC Naples finished 4th in the League One standings, one of 2 expansion teams to make the postseason. A tough task for new clubs this year as League One grows to 17 clubs.
Oh, what a strike!
Match day 1, it's the season opener of the USL Championship.
No time like the present for these teams to make a statement and begin the campaign on the right foot.
We all have goals. But let's be honest, most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Today, we accomplished nothing. I mean it, not a thing. And it was kinda everything.
This spring, stay 3 nights and get a $50 Best Western gift card.
Prinks tires in the USL help soccer journeys everywhere to drive harder. From city playgrounds to suburban sidelines, from early mornings to late nights, from fun with friends to winner takes all, from the biggest fan to the biggest heart. And at every turn, Prinks tires will be there for the long haul.
It is halftime in the USL Championship. We hope you're enjoying your match so far. I'm Dan Lucas inside the USL studio with a look at some of the headlines for this week. On opening night, Louisville City rallied to defeat I-64 rival Lexington SC 2-1, extending its winning streak in season opening matches to 7. A streak that began in 2020 continues. A pair of first-year clubs collected victories in their inaugural matches. JC Obregon converted a penalty kick to lead Brooklyn FC to a 1-0 victory over Indy 11. And in League One, AC Boise went on the road to defeat Sarasota Paradise 1-0 in the inaugural match for both clubs. Let's dive into a milestone for Sacramento Republic goalkeeper Danny Vitiello, who recorded his 59th career shutout last week, a USL Championship record. 150 career appearances, with just under 40% of those games, no goals allowed. About that. We have a pair of matches coming up that will be broadcast in Spanish on 2DN. Wednesday the 25th, 7 p.m. Eastern, Lexington SC hosts Brooklyn FC. Then on Saturday the 28th, 4 p.m. Eastern start between Detroit City and Charleston Battle. That's a look at the headlines for this week. Let's get you back to your match for the second half.
Welcome back to Seaside, everybody. Sean St. Jacques, Eric Dobransky, your entire crew. Happy to have you with us. It's El Paso on top of Monterey Bay by 1-0. We'll have the second half coming up in just a few moments. But first, we get a chance to look around the rest of the USL Championship. Scores from around the grounds on a jam-packed second week of action in the championship. We start with the defending champions, Pittsburgh, winning 3-2 at Loudoun. Louisville convincing over Miami. And then we mentioned this earlier, Detroit with a good result over Brooklyn.
Yeah, good bounce back weekend for Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Dropped their opener at Charleston. And then Colorado Springs Switchbacks conceding 2 goals. They were up 2-0, went to 2-2. Found the game winner, picked up a massive 3 points for their first home opener of the season.
First result and first goal and first point for Sporting Jacks at Rhode Island as well. 0-0 between Lexington and Sacramento. 0-0 between Tulsa and San Antonio. Oakland and Phoenix are both on top.
Yeah, surprising 0-0 with Lexington and Sacramento. Everybody was looking at that game as a high-flying match, and each pick up a point. Obviously, FC Tulsa dropped their opener to Sacramento last week, 2-0. So they pick up a point against San Antonio.
We'll be keeping an eye on those bottom 2 scores as we head into the second half of these final few games tonight. 1-0 here in Seaside. We'll see how Monterey Bay bounces back in the second 45 minutes. After the break, we'll have highlights, stats, and then the second half kick from California.
At Montage Health, we go way back in Monterey County. We've been here for life's bumps and bruises, and its joyous moments, too. Our dedicated, compassionate staff have cared for generations of you. We're locals serving locals, delivering all the care you need right here. Visit montagehealth.org.
all starts with a spark, an idea.
That idea ignites into a dream.
The dream sharpens into a vision.
The vision fuels a process.
And through relentless craftsmanship, that process is forged into reality. Your vision,
Our craftsmanship.
one unforgettable legacy.
Tonight's match is presented by Taylor Farms. Welcome back to Seaside, everybody. Sean St. Jacques, Eric Dobransky here with you. Halftime highlights between Monterey Bay and El Paso. We start with a good save by Fernando Delgado on this free kick by Alex Mendez, and we'll get to the second one in a moment.
Yeah, and both teams, good energy from the outset. And for El Paso, had to go into this match, but did it in a way where they were able to earn some early free kicks. You saw that early take and save from Delgado, but testing him in the same manner from about the same distance and same area. This one bouncing right in front of Delgado, catching him, and that being the goal that separates the two teams. But El Paso, they were knocking on the door and they had some dangerous chances. This delivery and header just over the crossbar. But Monterey Bay is gonna feel like they have some opportunities there to create there in the final third.
Moments away now from the start of the second half. And the referee's whistle puts us into the second 45 here at Cardinale Stadium in Seaside, California. Again, alongside Eric Dobransky and our entire crew, Sean St. Jacques, happy to have you with us. El Paso have the lead for now. We'll see if they can hold on in the second 45. Monterey Bay obviously will have something to say about it.
And remember, two Monterey Bay players playing on yellow cards. You see, unfortunately, Stuart Ritchie having to come off.
We should get a pretty good look at his backup here, Nakamura, at least for the night. In this second half, one of the fresh faces for Monterey Bay. And for those just joining us as well, Jordan Stewart did say to us that he did want to bring on Sebastian Lletget for a debut in this second half. We'll see if that happens as well. Here's Amari Glasgow, slashing that across. It falls for Garcia here. Nakamura out to the far side, cut out.
And that all starts with a threatening ball played in from Nakamura to start and initiate that spell of possession. And unfortunately, that's been not the storyline of Monterey Bay's first 45, is some half chances, good numbers in and around the box, but just unable to pick out that final run, that final pass. It's there. It's the chance creation is knocking on the door, but you could see it with the stats. 4 shots, 3 of those shots within the 18-yard box, but 0 on target. So that means they're either being blocked, the intervention is there, the timing is just missing that final detail. But we've already seen an uptick of the ability to create, the ability to possess and generate collective attacks for Monterey Bay here in match day 2.
Here is Glasgow. Blancas down the line, Garcia trying to dig out the cross, and again, it is wayward. It's a goal kick for Los Locos. Ball is clipped over the top. Strong header to allow Monterey Bay to get back on it with Joseph. And then Joseph cannot find a teammate. Flex back for Joel Garcia. Lovely skill there from Glasgow. Blancas over the top to no one in particular. Leggett was occupied with Dolenmeyer.
And that's one of those moments where you just need to match your eagerness with a bit of composure, because Blancas has a lot of space in front of him. He sees the runners, and you almost feel in that moment that you need to reward that forward run. But if you take a couple touches forward, now you make the defenders have to stall out, maybe step to you, maybe you create and generate some of that space in behind, but you play it in so quickly. The defenders are already set, they're already dropping. So subtle things like that can make a big difference when you're trying to unlock a frustrating El Paso side right now, because they are doing a tremendous job of getting numbers back behind the ball and winning duels and winning some matchups.
The Leggett popped back up and helped keep Monterey Bay on the front foot here. Now Glasgow trying to drive at this back line and then runs into traffic. Just too many El Paso defenders in his way. And Nakamura resets the play. Agu down the line. Chance to clip this into the middle for Monterey Bay. The header made by Hoban. He's going to be called upon again here to clear the lines for El Paso. Eventually, it's played all the way back to Delgado. This is a long ball over the top here. Oh, it's not the best of clearances. Garcia tries to head it back towards Glasgow. Again, he tries to move it into Glasgow's path. Cleared only as far as Nakamura. Nakamura again. Farnsworth tries again to just loop it over the top. And El Paso make a bit of a mess out of this here. Garcia tried to slip it through unsuccessfully. And now, can El Paso break up the other end here? It could open up down this near side for the goal scorer, Alex Mendez. Mendez with a lovely ball over the top. And just like that, it's 2-0 to Locomotive. What a sparkling counterattack from the visitors here. And Rubio Rubin scores his 3rd goal in his first 2 games as an El Paso player. And in the blink of an eye, Junior Gonzalez's men lead by 2-0.
And that is composure at its finest. I mean, Mendez, the ability to delay, the awareness, and then the quality of the ball in. But Rubio Rubin, the clinical nature that he brings to the 6-yard box there. He brings the ball down. Sometimes these are the hardest ones to finish because you have the time knowing that the goalkeeper's working from side to side and just rips that into the back of the net. His 3rd goal in 2 matches. What a hot start to the season for Rubio Rubin.
Alex Mendez scores the first goal, gets the assist on the second, and to your point, Coach, what a sharp finish by Rubin on the back end of a really impressive counterattack from Los Locos. Monterey Bay undone in transition by a sharp, cunning counterattack from El Paso, who double their lead in Seaside. And they could be on the front foot again here. What a take that is by Moreno. Rubin, back to Moreno. Absolutely incredible. 3-0 to El Paso. Locomotive just too good when they get it into the final third here. It's Armando Moreno's first goal of the season, and the Seasiders have been cut to ribbons here. 3-0 to Los Locos in a blink.
El Paso have been ruthless in their actions when they regain possession, head up the field, understanding where and how to access the space. And then Rubin, clever delay, playing that ball across. What a sparkling start to the second half for El Paso.
Two goals in 2 minutes. Mendez to Rubin on the first one. Rubin to Moreno. And cue the changes for Monterey Bay. Elijah Paul coming in. Johnny Klein coming in as well. They'll replace Lomtadze and Leggett. So just to be clear, Lomtadze and Leggett make way for Elijah Paul and Johnny Klein. And a 1-0 lead has ballooned to a 3-0 lead for El Paso. And very quickly here at the start of the second half, the Seasiders are in a heap of trouble.
But this early on in the season, this is where you start to find out who's in for the fight and who's in for the long journey that's ahead. And that's with every team, because you're going to find games where you suffer. You have to deal with some of the ebbs and flows of what a match present. But for Monterey Bay and their players, who's going to come out and showcase in these moments? Who's going to see 3-0 and see moments where, like, hey, get me the ball, get me on the ball. And let's create, and let's start chipping away at this lead. And for El Paso, the foot is on the gas, and they have been cohesive, collective, collaborative going forward. They have worked so well off of each other's runs.
A foul against Zachary Farnsworth, who's going to be booked for Monterey Bay for bringing down Rubin away from the ball.
And now both center backs for Monterey Bay on yellows. Something that you don't want to see in a 3-0 match is the accumulation of 2 yellows, because then you obviously playing the man down, but doing it for a significant amount of time. So making sure that you're measured here on out.
Mendez plays the free kick square, and Ruiz slips as he plays it. The shot comes in anyway from Avila, and it's caught by Delgado. Delgado with a long ball played downfield. It falls for Klein, in behind for Elijah Paul. Very quickly, Monterey Bay move this up the other end. Paul circling just to try and replenish the possession here for the Union. Back for Farnsworth. Garcia gets it back from Glasgow. Farnsworth again. Belmar Joseph Jr. doesn't have much room, I should say, to work with here. Farnsworth slips and gives the ball away. Back to El Paso. If Locomotive hurry here, they had numbers. Moreno cannot find Rubin. Monterey Bay's turn. Belmar Joseph. Omari Glasgow. And Omari Glasgow's in an offside position. That takes all of the sting out of the attack. And it gives us time to tell you that with soccer season here, SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the USL. Get all your USL tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site. SeatGeek is your ticket to great seats. There is the goal scoring summary. Mendez, 21st minute. Rubin, 51st minute. Moments after that, Moreno, 53rd minute. 3-0 El Paso. And they've got a free kick here on the near side. You just feel the frustration even in the crowd here at Cardinale Stadium.
For El Paso, you possess attacking qualities all over the field, whether it's from the back line, their ability to play make, midfield, forward line, that they are locked in with their awareness and how they can go at opponents defensively. They're able to face up, go at the dribble, as I mentioned in the first half, but also their body position. They're able to play back to goal. Good turnover here for Monterey Bay.
Klein did really well. Belmar Joseph to Omari Glasgow. Into the side netting. But that was much more promising from the Seasiders.
It's always good when you can win possession higher up the field and something that can help sustain attacks. You have good collective numbers in and around the box. Obviously, some Monterey Bay players, Elijah Paul there on the far post, looking for that ball to be driven across the face of goal. Glasgow elects to take himself. And that is a team that is in desperation to find that breakthrough.
The flag was briefly up there. I don't think it was offside on that play. Something what led the assistant referee to put the flag back down as Glasgow is brought down here for Monterey Bay.
Yeah, it was a ball played backwards from El Paso.
Well, for this challenge here, we're going to see a yellow card for Kenneth Hoban. So Hoban and Ruiz on yellow cards. And yellow cards are brought to you by Signs by Van. Approaching the final half an hour here in Seaside. Can Monterey Bay get a lifeline here? It is going to be Eduardo Blancas. It's a high arcer. It is going to be nudged out of play, and we're going to get a bagel corner kick on the far side.
Free kick that didn't seem to have too much promise because of how much it had underneath it. But you put enough pressure on El Paso, you earn yourself a corner, get Blancas back on this ball.
Blancas, into the middle is a chance for a glancing header there. Brief handball shouts from Monterey Bay as well that were waved away by the referee. Garcia sends the ball back into the penalty area. There's nobody there for Monterey Bay. It'll be easy for Romero to take some time off the clock before he picks it up.
Yeah, the challenge for both sides would be match management. El Paso, how do you not let your standards or your principles, your game model change being up 3-0? So many times you see this is where teams allow goals to kind of sneak themselves into the match, whether you concede at 3-1, you kind of find a spell where you're just not in rhythm because you kind of let your standards slip because of the scoreline. And the same would go for Monterey Bay. You have to play with urgency, but you also have to play with balance in your decision making. You can't get all the goals back in one play, so can you chip away, execute at a high level, pick and choose the right moments? We've seen some forced passes going forward, trying to bring it all back in one play. Still got plenty of time.
Garcia will come and take the throw in for Monterey Bay on this near side. And it's a looping throw. It's a glancing header. That's a pretty easy clearance in the end for Chumasi and Locomotive. This is Farnsworth for Garcia. Tried to play it in for Blancas. It falls back into Garcia's path. Glasgow on this near side uses his pace, just about kept it in play. And has won Monterey Bay a corner, it looks like. And corners are brought to you by Bagel Corner. Sebastian Leggett there warming up for Monterey Bay, actually helped to get the ball back towards the corner flag. The U.S. men's national team star, former LA Galaxy star as well. Will we see him tonight is the question, as Abraham Romero catches the corner out of the sky. Signed officially with Monterey Bay yesterday. Has been training with the Seasiders for about 10 or 11 days now. See their 33 appearances, 8 goals with the U.S. men's national team in his career, an MLS All-Star in his time in Major League Soccer.
And a 3-0 deficit. Where does Jordan Stewart and his coaching staff feel the best time to bring a player in is like Sebastian Leggett? You want to start building some of that.
Oh, Glasgow's ball slithered through there. Klein closest to it for Monterey Bay. Romero collects.
You want to see and start building some of that familiarity, or do you just continue to say, hey, let's go back to training, let's start to continue to kind of stack some training sessions in together and scaffold these performances? This next match being at Sacramento Republic next weekend. 2 away games back-to-back, Sacramento Republic and then at Las Vegas Lights.
Blancas from the free kick here for Monterey Bay. Played short for Glasgow. And Glasgow bends it into the middle. Pretty good ball, but headed away from Moreno. And again, El Paso looked to break. And eventually will briefly put their foots on the gas. Coronado. Played forward for Calvio. 25 minutes of normal time remaining in Seaside.
Look at some of the numbers and the metrics that have kind of defined this game for Monterey Bay. I mean, they're leading in final third entries.
Oh, this could be trouble here. Belmar Joseph is going to be sent off for Monterey Bay. It just got from bad to worse for the Seasiders here. Belmar Joseph Jr. had already been booked earlier in the game. This foul sees him see red.
Just an overzealous challenge there. I mean, you feel like you've climbed the field appropriately as a group, and just kind of gets his attacking player turned around, and you knew that those that were playing on a yellow were gonna have to be measured with their next action, and exactly what you don't want to see for Monterey Bay, because yes, you're already down 3-0, but now you're asking the rest of your group to cover even more ground. The ground coverage for the next 25 minutes is going to be heavy. You're trying to get yourself back in a game.
And red cards are brought to you by Signs by Van. You wonder what's going through Jordan Stewart's mind on a couple of fronts right now. You wonder if the red card means it's more likely to see Sebastian Leggett or less likely as well, by the way. That's another potential storyline the rest of the way here. The bottom line, though, is that a mountain to climb for Monterey Bay just basically became Everest. 3-0 down and a man down.
You see Jordan Stewart and his coaching staff signaling down to the corner. So clearly, possible changes looming.
It's going to go into this corner here on the near side. Tough to tell what the referee is trying to signal here. It's going to be a throw-in for Monterey Bay. We are told that Junior Gonzalez is about to make a few changes. We'll get to that in a moment. It's cleared upfield by Nakamura. Picked off by Dolenmeyer. Rubin for Moreno. Boy, that could be a potential phenomenal 1-2 punch for El Paso this season. We already saw the combination on the third goal between Rubin and Moreno. Those are just two quality players getting to play with each other up top. They could be a very dangerous and dynamic duo for Los Locos as the season moves along.
I think the question for El Paso and Junior Gonzalez is defensively. Last year, top 10 in goals scored with 47, but also they conceded 46. Kept 6 clean sheets, so it's, can you complement the danger that you possess going forward, complement with that with the structure defensively and being difficult to not only break down, but kind of blowing up plays when they're there to be blown up, and we've seen that from Dolenmeyer. Seen that throughout the back line tonight and even in week 1, but they were going to be disappointed with conceding the 2 goals.
Another bagel corner kick, this time for El Paso. And it's really fizzed in there towards Dolenmeyer. Oh, and on the back stick, Chumasi could not redirect it. If he had, it probably would have trickled in. And it's out for another corner.
Yeah, the continued battle for space. This ball played across. Johnny Klein gets the touch.
This time it's taken short from the corner. Klein touches it away from Moreno. Now Glasgow gets past Ruiz, and Monterey Bay are in behind here. Amari Glasgow all by himself. Can he finish? Oh, no, he can't. Oh, Amari Glasgow 1v1. Could not hit the target, and that sums up the night for Monterey Bay.
Yeah, such work rate here to put pressure on that final ball, getting a touch on that initial challenge. Takes a look around, makes sure that he's clear of El Paso defenders, but almost looks like he gets caught between 2 thoughts. Then just gets the execution wrong. Well over the crossbar, and to your point, just kind of sums up what this night has been for Monterey Bay. Still looking for their first goal of the season.
Well, here comes the triple change for El Paso here. Kenneth Hoban, Beto Avila, and Rubio Rubin all make way. Alvaro Quesada, Tony Alfaro, and Diego Abitia all coming in for Los Locos. Fresh legs for Junior Gonzalez, who are already a man up and 3 to the good. And this rolls in behind here. Monterey Bay are late to react. First time ball is looped over the top. It could be volleyed back into the middle. It's Moreno's header. Glancing wide, and it's gonna be a goal kick. It was nearly put on a platter by Quesada. Well, that gives us time to tell you that if you can't watch the match, turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access on Tuesday nights, plus your live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app.
You see the referee talking to Garcia and Moreno. They were getting into it, and they're still getting into it here higher up the field.
Moreno just gliding past challenges here. Tried to fizz it towards the middle there, and well, that was the substitute, Abitia, who could not control it for El Paso. Let's play down the far side, and 17 minutes left. Can Monterey Bay try to dig their way back in? You can hear some cheers. That's for Sebastian Lletget. As promised, Jordan Stewart is ready to bring him in. And Amari Glasgow trying to make up for his earlier mistake. Blasts it off an El Paso defender. Abitia looks to lead Los Locos up the other end. But the whistle is going to stop the play here. A yellow card has been given there. We'll get back to that in a moment. Sebastian Lletget is getting set to make his USL Championship debut. A lot of the fans came here excited to see him. Eduardo Blancas will make way. Sebastian Lletget is here in the USL Championship in Seaside. Played his last 4 seasons with FC Dallas in Major League Soccer, of course known for his wonderful run with the LA Galaxy, as well was a former West Ham United youth product. The San Francisco native is now in the USL Championship.
What a profile of player to bring in. I know this scoreline is not what this team envisioned tonight, but just continues to show the ambition of Jordan Stewart, this side, this organization, where they want to go. This is also a team last year that got off to a hot start and kind of faded midway towards the end and obviously missed the playoffs altogether. So they know how long of a journey this is and the games and the challenges that they're going to have to navigate, and bringing in a player of this stature with the qualities of Sebastian Lletget. They are in this for the long haul, and that's why I know the scoreline isn't what they want, but you're going to get to find out the character of your side through these challenging moments. So let's see what Monterey Bay do here. They're down a player. They've obviously missed a clear-cut opportunity just a few moments ago.
eFootball is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download now. One of the reasons that the Sebastian Lletget signing for Monterey Bay turned heads, as he gets on the ball here and dinks this over the top for Elijah Paul. Back for Lletget, it falls for Glasgow! And again, Omari Glasgow cannot hit the target for Monterey Bay.
And the shaking of the head says it all, because there was a chance in week 1 against Oakland Roots that just kind of hit it on frame. You had the earlier one in this half, mentioned right before Sebastian Lletget makes his introduction and puts this one over the crossbar.
El Paso make 2 changes here. Daniel Gomez and Jimmy Farkalan are both coming in. That's going to do it for Armando Moreno and Eric Calvios. Now all the heavy hitters for El Paso get a rest here in the final 13 minutes and change. And that's it. Junior Gonzalez has exhausted all of his substitutes here. Just to finish the point on Sebastian Lletget, many believe he could have signed again in MLS. 33 years old, he decides to come to Seaside, California. Over 250 MLS appearances, won CONCACAF Nations League and the Gold Cup with the United States men's national team. He's just had a storied and decorated career for club and for country. He arrives on Seaside. The club called it a defining moment in the club's history. There's certainly high expectations with him now in the fold. And Monterey Bay will get a corner. You think that's Lletget, as he runs over here, is going to take it.
And you don't make that move if there isn't alignment and belief in the direction. Important corner here for Monterey Bay. Can they pull one back?
Great ball by Lletget. The header goes right into the ground. Glasgow, can he shape up for a shot here? He lays it off. Clipped back in by Garcia. Flicked on header for Farnsworth. It falls for Lletget. Sebastian Lletget back into the middle. And Romero was able to punch that away. And I think an El Paso player gets fouled here on the back end. It's a free kick. And Garcia needs a moment as he holds his head.
Numbers thrown forward, obviously coming off of the free kick. Another delivery from Sebastian Lletget, asking different questions, putting a lot of numbers in and around Romero. Trying to punch that away.
Farkalan. Oh, he played it across in a good area. Kelsey Egu clears it away from Monterey Bay, out for a throw.
Both these teams, as this game wears on, looking for momentum in different ways. El Paso obviously bringing on some subs, want to see this game out. Would love to preserve the clean sheet. Have looked electric offensively, but there's no need for that now. With 10 minutes left, you want to make sure that you're secure in everything you do off the ball. But for Monterey Bay, obviously you bring in Sebastian Lletget. We've seen some entries here, playing a player down, but you're trying to build momentum on the ball. You're trying to build some belief in your team and what they can do going forward. And take that into next weekend's match against Sacramento Republic.
Oh, El Paso cut their way through again here. The shot is blocked. Abitia. And then on the follow-up, Farkalan cannot get a shot away. Not for the first time tonight. El Paso at times have just played their way through Monterey Bay's defensive setup here. Coronado. Clever ball into the area. Touched away by Farnsworth. Klein out wide. And it's going to be touched out of play, is it? Oh, it's going to be a foul. Brought back as Mileshevich was held back. Free kick for the Union. Farnsworth. 9 minutes of normal time left. Farnsworth is dragged down here. It's going to be a free kick. Egu. For Klein, lovely ball. Klein to the byline. Cross into the middle, slithers through a couple of bodies there. It's last off of Elijah Paul, and it's gonna be a goal kick.
And I know El Paso has been playing with a lead, and you tend to see some possession numbers and chance creations kind of shift in the metrics when you are preserving the clean sheet. Now you're sitting on a 3-0, but the final third entries were still in favor of Monterey Bay even at that point. And now it's just about what each team were doing with those final third entries, and we've just kind of not seen it click and come to fruition for Monterey Bay in the final third. Whereas at El Paso has just executed at such a high clip when they do find themselves in those areas, in those spaces. The combination, the movement, the recognition, it's been spot on.
Here is Quesada. Quesada could not get it past Glasgow. And then Glasgow, well, it looked like Glasgow had won a throw in there. The referees said it was last off of Omari Glasgow, so it's going to be a throw in for El Paso instead. Nakamura under pressure, able to find a teammate. It's then speared ahead, looking for Paul. Chumasi pressured by Leggett. El Paso try to play through the lines here, but it comes off the hand of Kelsey Egu. My goodness, nothing going right, it feels, for Monterey Bay. Even when they win the challenge, it comes off of his hand, and El Paso keep it. As you can see, top left-hand part of your screen, Monterey Bay have been down to 10 men now for almost 20 minutes. The second yellow card for Belmar Joseph Jr. saw Jordan Stewart's side reduced to 10. They were already 3-0 down before that happened. A goal and an assist for Alex Mendez, a goal and an assist for Rubio Rubin, and a goal for Armando Moreno. Those are the three big moments. And now Delgado, oh, lost his footing. And El Paso nearly made him pay for that.
Yeah, having to take a heavy touch with this ball played backwards, and as you mentioned, loses the footing and to get himself out of trouble, earns the goal kick.
One of the things that Jordan Stewart talked to us, Coach, about earlier in the week was he wasn't happy with a lot of things, but one of the things was the effort from the team in week one. It's hard to believe, but he might have even more questions about this team after week two.
And there lies the frustration of this early season start, because you feel like coming off of a great preseason, which is something that Monterey Bay feels like they had some solid performances, and then you look at week one, maybe you chalk it up to some nervy moments, some uncharacteristic play, just season opener, home opener. But now when that then blends itself into a week two result, and I will add that week one you saw glimpses. Here, week two, you saw some bigger, louder moments that if you could find that final action, it does change the narrative, but there was still a lot left out there in this match. And El Paso, to their credit, they took a balanced performance from week one and brought it here on the road and executed in both boxes.
Elijah Paul did not go after that, thought he was in an offside position. Early ball played in towards Elijah Paul, and Paul cannot get onto it. El Paso clear their lines. Farnsworth linking up with Leggett. Nakamura. Garcia down the line for Glasgow. And Glasgow trying to fight his way through, but there was three defenders to cope with there He eventually loses out. Then Farnsworth keeps Monterey Bay on it. 3 minutes plus stoppage time left. Here is Nakamura. Leggett. Glasgow. Lovely dummy by Leggett, who gets it on the receiving end here on the byline. Flares it across. And again, it doesn't fall into the path of a Monterey Bay player, but that was some lovely interplay with Leggett at the heart of it.
My goodness, even down a player, he has come on and made his presence felt. You wondered how this was gonna look, being down a player, having to chase this game. But he has been fluid in his movement. He's been active, decisive, commanding so much attention. Unfortunately, it is just still not coming together in the final third. And for Monterey Bay, it's gonna be about, when you reflect back at this game, obviously there's both sides in both boxes, but how do you turn some of these half chances into full chances? And then how do you convert some of the clear-cut opportunities into goals, as we see a Paso player down.
Looks like it's Noah Dolenmeyer who is struggling here for Junior Gonzalez's group. Well, and this is a little bit of a problem here because El Paso are out of substitutions. So if Dolenmeyer cannot continue, this game might finish 10v10. I think Junior Gonzalez is trying to get some messages relayed back to him by the medical staff here and by maybe some of the El Paso players as to how serious this Dolenmeyer injury is. And now Dolenmeyer looks to be okay. At least he's back up.
He is being asked to come off.
So might have to re-enter the field here. Noah Dolenmeyer. That takes us into the 90th minute. And it's a shame. You could see some of the fans starting to file out here at Cardinale Stadium in Seaside. Tough night. Tough first couple of nights, frankly, to start this Monterey Bay campaign. And like you said, Eric, it does not get any easier. A couple of road tests that are going to be pretty stiff coming up for Monterey Bay the next couple of weeks, and they're going to need to try and get something out of those two. Go the first 4 games without anything on the board. That could be very, very tough to battle back from. Remember, this is a Monterey Bay organization that has its sights set on, hopefully this year, making the playoffs. They've never been in nearly half a decade of existence. On the turn here, it's Albitia holding up the play. Farkalin back for Quezada, and we are into 6 added minutes at the end here. Dolenmeyer is trying to get back on for El Paso.
The fourth official has indicated a minimum of 6 minutes of stoppage time.
Confirmation of the 6 added minutes. Still 5 minutes left. Monterey Bay in search of some positivity, a consolation. Trying to avoid going the first 2 games as well without a goal. Sebastian Leggett, this is where he is a specialist from set pieces. Clips this into the middle, puts it really, really nicely under the edge of the 6. The header's deflected, and it will be a bagel corner kick, and Leggett trots over to take that as well.
An inviting service from deep. Elijah Paul almost getting on the end of it. Now looking for the same from this corner kick.
Leggett takes aim. Another decent ball, a little bit short, but he'll get another try at it.
tremendous to see the influence that he has had since coming on.
Leggett tries again, another good ball. It pinballed around in there, and it's going to be another corner this time on the far side. And 88 is going over to take that as well. It's almost as if the way he plays, you could just see the resume pop off the page of quality at his disposal. And this corner comes up just a smidge short here, and El Paso have a chance to run this out down the other end. Monterey Bay have to get numbers behind the ball here defensively. Klein slides in, Farkalen, and tries to go past Egu. Egu sweeps it up. Klein for Glasgow, still 3 added minutes left. Nakamura for Garcia. And it's forced back to Delgado. Farkalen's hold up play. Now Gomez. We sort of talked a little bit about where Monterey Bay are. Still very early, of course. Gotta remind ourselves of that sometimes in the season. After a 2-2 home draw, very impressive display here from Junior Gonzalez and El Paso. You might be thinking, well, they were a man up. Well, they were 3-0 up when that happened. The damage had already been done. And El Paso can look at their next couple of games and think, well, maybe we can stack some early points here and look towards the top of the table the way they're playing.
They're going to almost feel like, when it comes to league play, that they don't want the weekend off, because they don't play again until March 28th when they travel to Sacramento Republic. Actually, both these teams have the same 2 upcoming opponents. Monterey Bay playing at Sacramento, at Las Vegas. El Paso.
I think El Paso do have the Open Cup, though, coming up
correct.
this week. But you're right, in the league, they do get a bit of a break, to your point. Bagel corner kick. Fired in by Leggett, and again, 2 heads go up. No one can redirect it on target. It's another wonderful bit of service here. On the back end here, Mileshevich and company trying to move this forward. Referee consults the assistant, and it could be another chance here from a throw. Klein keeps it in play. It's clipped into the middle. Oh, and it's touched wide again. This time Elijah Paul in a perfect position to attack. And again, it's agonizingly off target for Monterey Bay.
Just continue to knock on the door, but just unable to knock it down and tuck one away. And obviously, if this scoreline holds and Monterey Bay aren't able to pull one back and at least relinquish the clean sheet from El Paso, you have to make sure that the frustration does not continue to mount, because you almost felt like that was happening in this match. We talked about some of the fouls at midfield, some of those that kind of led to energy being directed at other things other than playing the game in some of these moments. And for a team that is creating but just not finding the back of the net, it can grow in frustration, and that could just be at the forefront of your mind match after match, training session after training session. You see one at training go over or wide, you say, hey, here it comes again, and you just can't let those moments add up. And a dangerous free kick awarded, and you see Sebastian Leggett with the approach. Probably no question that he's going to be putting this on frame.
And with the 6 minutes more than up, this will likely be the last act of the evening here in Seaside. Sebastian Leggett in MLS last season, just 1 goal in 21 league appearances with FC Dallas. And he's really more known for his distribution and getting teammates involved. but this is well within his range. Leggett tries to pick out a teammate here. It's headed towards Gomez, and that'll be that. Full time in Seaside. A really impressive win for El Paso Locomotive. Their first win of the season. They take care of Monterey Bay by 3-0 on a night where very little went right for Jordan Stewart and Monterey Bay. A very positive debut for Sebastian Leggett. There's no question about that. Nakamura played well at times for the Seasiders as well. But other than that, it was all El Paso, and they win it comfortably with a man up as well.
Yeah, you have to be excited about the addition of Sebastian Leggett. Seamless fit, the qualities just popped out right away. But El Paso executing at a high clip, so efficient going forward, so electric.
Well, our Monterey Bay man of the match brought to you by Bay Federal Credit Union. It really has to be Sebastian Leggett, not just because he came on, but because he changed the game for Monterey Bay, despite the mountain they had to climb in the second half. Seasiders will hope that that is a sign of things to come on the positive for the Seasiders going forward. El Paso win it comfortably. We'll wrap it up after the break.
There is a ranch where we belong, where people believe in us, and we see what's possible when we realize our potential. This place dares you to dream, to seize opportunities, and find purpose. This is our ranch.
Community Hospital of the Monterey Peninsula has always been our beating heart. And now, that care extends far beyond hospital walls. From primary to emergency care and everything in between, Montage Health is here for you. We're your local, nonprofit partner in health, committed to caring for our community right here at home. Visit montagehealth.org.
At Taylor Farms, our goal is to create healthier lives by creating healthy, fresh foods. A stronger community is a win for everyone. That's why each time the Monterey Bay Football Club scores a goal, Taylor Farms will donate $500 to a local nonprofit. Healthy goals, healthy lives. A more perfect union. We are Union!
Sean St. Jacques, Eric Dobransky back here wrapping things up in Seaside. A historic night for Monterey Bay as Sebastian Leggett debuts for the Seasiders in the USL Championship. But really, it's El Paso's night. They win comfortably by 3-0. Full-time highlights, we start with the Alex Mendez goal from the free kick in the 21st minute. Fernando Delgado just couldn't deal with it.
And this comes moments after testing Delgado in the same form and fashion. And this one, Mendez gets to dip and bounce right before hitting frame, gets the opener, going to the break up 1-0. And this is the second straight match where El Paso has been able to earn a goal 6 minutes into the start of the second half. And what a well-worked goal it was. Ball clipped in from the earlier goal scorer, Mendez, and Rubio Rubin. You give him that kind of time and space, he knows exactly what to do with. And this is where El Paso was so dangerous throughout the night. Obviously, so many other elements that they were positive with, but their entry passes and the way that they were able to control with some of those entry passes was electric. And the finish here for Moreno makes it 3-0. El Paso was off and running in a lot of those transition moments.
In the end, 3-0 is the final score. Monterey Bay finished with just 10 men. They had 10 shots, but my goodness, none of them were on target. That is a bit of a shocker from the Seasiders. El Paso, clinical. 5 shots on target, 3 went in. They could have had more.
Yeah, you just look at the numbers, and for El Paso, you check all the boxes. 12 shots, 5 on target, and to the point you just made, 5 of those on target ended up in the back of the net. The flip side, Monterey Bay is going to look at it and want efficiency out of what they're producing in front of goal. 10 shots, 0 on target. that's going to be the step that Jordan Stewart's side is going to want to take into next weekend when they go to Sacramento Republic.
Certainly a positive debut for Sebastian Lletget. Nakamura comes off the bench, does well also for Monterey Bay. But other than that, many questions will be asked of Jordan Stewart's side going into next week. El Paso get their first win of the season in emphatic fashion here in Seaside, led by Mendez, Rubin, and Moreno, and they win it by 3-0. For Eric Dobransky and our entire crew, I'm Sean St. Jacques. We say so long from Seaside. El Paso win it by 3-0 to get their first win of the campaign.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.
There between Calvio and look, all by himself, can he finish? Oh!